can use later on. Then we want float. So we also want to adjust bottom because we don't want it completely on the bottom. We want it floating off the bottom. Bottom minus 100. Then we want to create a float center for where we want to center each view. Self view.frame.size.width divided by 5. And then we want to float offset is equal to center. Okay. And then we want to manipulate the image's centers. So image1.center is equal to CG point make offset. We can make it the center. Center bottom. Awesome. Then we want to change the center. So center is equal to center plus offset. And then we can set the image2 dot center is equal to CG point make center bottom, and likewise with the rest, 3 and 4. Three, 4. Okay, and then let's also add this as a log statement. Hello view did load. Okay, so we have all those images set up. Let's go check if that worked out. So there are ways to do this in auto layout that would require you not to use code. So now we can see that our input label is here, then we have our total label, and we also have our buttons. Okay, awesome. So let's go into here. Let's make some NS log statements for here too, so we can check if we've entered here. Double clicked. Let's copy that over. Happy and div money. And let's also make a method to update the label, update total. So we want to say void, which basically means I don't want to return anything from this method. Update total. And we also want to take an input of a float. So to take an input of a float, you just have to write float like this and then percentage. So each button will invoke a different percentage. So for example, double clicked will self, no, we don't need that. Yeah, so you want to do self update total, sorry, and then go 12.0. And then you want to use that over here, actually 0.12. 12, and then make this 0.15. Right over here, and right over here, make this 18, and make this 20. And now to up the total, all we really need to do is get the input. First, let's write an NS log statement, updating total. So we need to get a string and get the input. So we get the input from the input field, input is equal to input field.text. Okay, so now this variable input is assigned the value of whatever the user has entered. Now we need to check if it's a double value. A double value is a different way of representing a number. So there's a double, int, float, and a few more, but these are basic ways to represent numbers. Each requires different memory, and ints can only be things like 1, 2, 3. Floats and doubles can be 52.7, like weird numbers like that. They can have decimals, but ints will always round down. So we're going to use doubles because we deal with money and percentages. So we're going to use double value is equal to input double value. So just like we called a method called self and update total, input, the NSString class, instead of the view controller class, has a method called double value. Double value returns a 0 if the input is wrong, meaning it's not a double value, or the value itself into the number form, because our computer's too dumb to realize if a string is a number or if a number is a string. So now we want to handle if the value was equal to 0, just in case the user inputted a weird value. Then we want a UI alert controller and set alert controller. And to create a UI alert controller, you need to get some brackets here, alert controller, and then what's it called? Alert controller with title. So we set our title here, and invalid input, and then our message, please enter a valid input, and then UI alert control style alert, I believe, yes. Okay, and then after that we need to set an action, UI alert action is equal to UI alert action with title. Okay, UI alert action style is default, alert style default, handler is nil. So if we want to run some code, we could do this and then say as log handled, but we don't want to do that because that's outside scope. Okay, so we'll make it no. Okay, and then we want to add the add action to the alert controller, and then we want to present it self present view controller alert controller animated yes, and same thing here. If we want to put in code, then we can. Then we want to stop executing if we're all done. Then after that, since we're returning here, we don't need to put an else statement, which means that either do this or that. If it ever enters here, it'll exit because we made it that way. Then we need to get the tip. Double tip is equal to value times the percentage that was entered. Then we need a double total is equal to tip plus value. Simple math. And then we need to update the label. So we get the total label.text is equal to, and since these are double values, we need to change them into strings. So the way you do that is, first we're going to write something. You should tip %.2f. So 0.2 means that I'm going to round my number up to 2 decimal points. You should tip. And then we want a new line for the next line. And then you say your total is, and let's put a semicolon here. And then the same thing, %.2f. And now it's complaining. It's going to complain because we didn't add the tip and total. So let's add this. Tip, you just need to put comma and total. Ooh. Total. Awesome. Okay. And now everything should be okay. Let's go into here. Let's also, I forgot to do this. We want to increase the number of lines so that way we can represent 2 lines. Let's also embed a navigation controller. So you go to editor and then embed in and then say navigation controller. So we get this nice little box up here, and then we can just put a title up here. Sorry about those texts. And just say tipping calculator. All right, let's see what we have. Okay, so let's enter hello. See what happens. Ooh, so we got an error because I put in a non-number value. So you can see that devil was clicked, then updating total, and then nothing was printed. So that means it went in through that these statements over here. It took in the input hello, made this hello. It checked if it was a double value, and it wasn't, so it returned 0. It came into here. Then it made these objects. Then it presented the view controllers, and then returned. Okay, so let's try entering a valid input. Let's enter 10. And there you go, your tipping calculator. Okay, I think that covers the iPhone app. I don't see what else I need to change. The one in the repo is slightly different because I'm doing this on the fly, but here are some resources. So first of all, Ray Wenderlich is great for furthering any knowledge. Anytime I needed to learn anything new, such as push notifications or core data, Ray Wenderlich is the first guy I go to. If you're just getting started, then this is a great resource. The apple.com starter tutorial. Honestly, if you just Google Apple getting started and iOS apps Swift, then it should definitely come up. And if you want to see my GitHub repo, just type this into your browser and you can see it. Okay, well, I think this is going to be on YouTube, so feel free to add any comments below. And I'll